intermittent power supplies coming from some of those renewable energies. But the energy, and we're taking you back to the story that the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority is on the spot of alleged irregular procurement expenditure of 181 million shillings for monitoring the quality of petroleum products such as kerosene in the local market during the financial year 2020-2021. Appearing before the National Assembly Public Investments Committee on Commercial Affairs and Energy, probing the alleged irregularities, EPRA Director General Daniel was accused by legislators of not doing enough as head of a critical public agency to caution Kenyans against the spike in fuel prices, despite assuring Parliament that prices of crude oil are set to reduce in the coming weeks and months. Seth Olale now reports.
The damning financial report of EPRA's unsatisfactory spending of 181 million shillings towards a contract awarded to Intertech Testing Services Limited for monitoring the quality of domestic kerosene from petrol stations was revealed by the Office of the Auditor General before the National Assembly Public Investment Committee on Commercial Affairs and Energy. The Office of the Attorney General informing the Parliamentary Energy Watchdog that 65 million shillings was overspent.
They have given us that 10 million was for VAT and then 55 million was for variation. So they need to convince this committee that the 55 million variation is within the 25% threshold as the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act of 2015.
Our response is yes. Yes, we are within the threshold. And I think maybe where we are having a bit of miscommunication and maybe we've not communicated ourselves well is that this was a 3-year contract for fuel marking.
According to documents tabled before the Energy Committee, EPRA spent the 181 million shillings in 3 phases, with a notable variation in year 2 and 3 that includes a controversial addition of an extra 62 million shillings inclusive of VAT.
And then yourself you're saying, you know what auditor did not capture VAT. So we told you, okay, fine. Out of 65 million, what is VAT? And you say, this is 10 million. 65
million is on account of 3 issues. 1 is on the VAT, which had not been factored in. 2 is on the account of the variation of the samples. There was an increase of 1,350 samples, each for domestic kerosene and for export. So that will speak to the issue of the variation. And last is the issue of the exchange rate, because over the 3-year contract period, we have assumed in terms of our reconciliation an exchange rate, which is in our submission chair, of 105 shillings to the dollar.
The embattled EPRA boss taken to task over government's seemingly lack of tangible interventions on the spike in fuel prices.
You announce the price increment to the detriment and misery of Kenyans, then they open up and make huge. And you're here speaking to us in good English, my friend.
Kenyans are really suffering. Today you are seated here. There is no solution you are offering, and yet you know very well that these Kenyans can't manage with the current crisis.
So there is a hope and there's an expectation. But Chair, what I want to say is that currently we compete prices. We compete prices on the basis of
I'm helping you to make your explanation, which you made in a very long presentation. We never satisfy anybody, including me.
With Kenyans still grappling with the high cost of fuel announced by EPRA, the revelations made by the Auditor General in regards to alleged irregularities in the procurement process in regards to the marking and monitoring of fuel in the country is adding salt to injury to a population that is also being confronted by other factors contributing to the high cost of living. Seth Olale, Citizen TV, Parliament Buildings, Nairobi County.
All right, and we are taking a short break here, but